Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel, Love.Travel.Nursing. My name is Lou.
And I'm Evans.
And this is Cosmo. Guys, so the video we have for you today, we want to go over, is travel nursing still worth doing in 2024? Okay, so we sat down, created a list of pros, a list of cons, 5 and 5 each, just from our opinion, what we think. And then that way we can go over it with you guys, and you guys can make an educated decision on what's best for you.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. So we're gonna start with the cons, okay? So starting at number 5 for the cons list, floating requirements. So the thing about travel nursing, when you are a traveler and you work on the floor inpatient, travelers are the first to get floated. That can mean to a different floor within the hospital. That can mean a different hospital, because sometimes there's like different branches of the same hospital, and maybe a different location has more of a need than the hospital that you were assigned to. So you can also be floated to a different hospital within that same system altogether. So you definitely have to be comfortable with that. When you go to different floors or different hospitals, obviously it's a different setup, different people, different patient population. I know my last contract, I took on a med-surg contract, but a lot of the times I was getting floated to rehab. I'm not a rehab nurse, so it's things that you have to be able to pick up on quickly, and just adjust and get comfortable with. So that's coming in at number 5.
Yeah, the ED, we don't really get floated to different floors, but we do get floated to different locations. So, it can happen that they send you to a different location, but not likely that they would send you to a different floor. I've never seen it happen personally.
Yeah, me either. So number 4, finding housing. I'll let Evans take over.
Yeah, for the finding housing, guys, it's one of those things that, because you go into a hospital, let's say we live in Houston, let's say your hospital is in Humble, it doesn't necessarily mean that you should stay in Humble. Basically, just to give you an example, you have to make sure you find out if the place is a safe place, if it's a safe hospital, if the hospital is in a safe area, basically, to see if that's where you're staying. Because our last assignment, we were in New Jersey, but where the hospital was, it was not the safest area. So you have to make sure you do your research. You go on Google, you can put like the city and see, like, is it I forgot how you call it, but you can pull up the crime report, and they'll tell you things about the city, so you can make the decision about finding a home. And there are different things that go with that too, especially like if you're traveling with a pet, things like that you have to take into consideration. You have to make sure you check all those things to see what they're gonna require. If they're gonna require that you put more down or all that, they have different pet deposits. So it's just a lot to look into, and it definitely goes hand in hand with duplicate house, and you have to also make sure you keep that in mind.
Yeah, so it's kind of like so let's say you travel to California, but you live in Texas, right? If you have a house in Texas, but you're also paying rent and whatever else out in California, that's something called duplicate expenses, because you have bills at home, you still have bills where you're currently at for your contract. So you just want to make sure that when you're picking out wherever you're staying, that it's gonna be affordable for you, that you're still gonna comfortably be able to pay for the things you need where you're at and still handle things back home.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yes. So that was number 4. Number 3. Oh my gosh. Coming in with unfamiliarity and starting over, guys. This is probably a given, to be honest. With travel nursing, you're constantly starting over.
Yeah.
You're maybe home for a couple weeks at a time, maybe a month, and then you're back out for 3 months, or if you choose to extend, however. So you are away from family, you are away from friends, you
Hmm.
are away from everything that's familiar to you.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds small, but things like the grocery store, the gym, I don't know if you're like a girly girl, nails, lash, whatever, things that you would normally just know off the top of your head. Okay, this is where I'm going to get this done, or this is
Hmm.
where I'm going to get this. You don't know anymore. You have to research, you have to look and see what's around you. Another thing is, when you're out on these travel assignments, maybe you feel like you're missing out on things at home. Uh, I don't know, maybe it's your granddad's 70th birthday party and you can't go because you have to work and you're halfway across the country. Or sometimes if, unfortunate, unforeseen things happen with your family.
That's true.
The only thing you can really do, I mean, if it's emergent, I'm sure you could, talk to your manager and fly home, however, but typically you're not there. It might be a lot of things that you just have to handle over the phone.
It's definitely a sacrifice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And then also, when you go to different hospitals, the starting over aspect.
Hmm.
You go to a hospital, you don't know anyone, you don't know the hospital's
Yeah.
policies, you don't know how things work. Sure, you know nursing. Nursing overall is the same, but each hospital has a different way in which they do things. So you have to learn all of that all over again. And it doesn't matter how long you've been a nurse, you feel new. You feel new. Maybe they use different machines that you're not used to, that you've never seen before. Maybe a different charting system. Like I said, the different policies, how they reach out to the doctors, so on and so forth. So you just have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable,
I mean,
basically.
the good thing is there's usually people there to help you. That's one thing. But also, when you get there, you have to make sure you ask, and you also have to know the things that you do on your floor that you do regularly, and things like if you're gonna give blood, if you're gonna start someone on heparin, if you're gonna you have a stroke patient, you have someone comes in with chest pain, whatever it is. If it's something that you feel like this is something I'm gonna be doing every day, I want to know your policies on it. I want to know how
Right.
you go about this. And you see different things there that you don't, you're not used to doing. You have to be able to look at it from that point of view as well and say, okay, this is how you guys do it. I have to respect how you guys do certain things. And sometimes you can just ask them, why do you do it this way instead of the way that I'm used to.
Hmm.
And yeah.
Absolutely, I agree. Coming in at number two is budgeting. So this is more so of a when you're not on contract kind
Yeah.
of thing. Like let's say you just finished, excuse me, you just finished a 13-week contract, and you're at home. Maybe you decide to take a month off.
Yeah.
Let's just say, right? You have to have budgeted during the time when you were making a consistent income of money. You have to budget that money for when you're actually at home,
Yeah.
because the thing is, there is no such thing as PTO for travelers.
Yeah.
You have to save enough money to where if you do decide to take a certain amount of time off at home or go on vacation or
Hmm.
whatever, to where you can still be able to comfortably afford your bills and do your vacation, or
Yeah.
whatever your lifestyle is, and you want to make sure you can do that comfortably because you don't have any more income
Yeah, there's
when you're
no
not
such thing
working.
as PTO.
Yeah, there's
You
no
don't
such
have no
thing, not for
PTO. You don't
travelers.
have you don't have certain benefits. You don't have hey, you get a 2 week paid vacation. There's nothing like that. So that's something that you have to make sure you get ready for. And I know to a lot of people it might not sound like a con, but it's more so from a traveling point of view. When you're home, you really have to think about that. And that's what we always try to tell people. Even when you're home, you still have to make sure you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna spend, let me be careful about this,
Right.
because you're still gonna get the bills.
Right. Exactly. And then coming in at number one, guys, this, in our opinion,
Yeah,
was the biggest con
yeah,
of doing travel
yeah. We think a
nursing.
lot of people would agree with this one.
Yeah, we're pretty sure, is job insecurity.
Hmm.
So a lot of people, they hear, oh, you're a travel nurse, you're making that money. Yeah, but the thing is, there's job insecurity with
Yeah.
it. At any given time, your recruiter can call you and say, hey, the hospital doesn't have a need anymore, or hey, guys, your contract
Hmm.
has been canceled. Any given
Yeah,
time,
and
you
you
can
could
be
be on
on
the
the
way.
way.
Yeah.
You can be on the way there to the assignment. You can be in the middle of the
Hmm.
assignment. You can be almost close to the end of your
Yeah.
assignment. It doesn't matter. At any given time, if they no longer have a need or for
Hmm.
whatever other reason, they can cancel your
Yeah.
contract.
And we were on a contract, and they sent out a memo, and it was more so, hey, you have until Monday to agree with this rate change, and if you don't agree with it, then you can choose to leave the contract. So that's something for you to keep in mind. And when we talk about travel nursing, the first advice I always tell people is whatever money you make on your first contract, make sure you save as much as you can, because when you on a contract, and I know this applies to job insecurity, but also your safety as far as a nurse. If you're on a contract and you feel like I'm not safe here and I need to leave, you don't ever want it to be money that's keeping you at that
Yes,
place, because at
absolutely.
the end of the day you are a nurse, you there to care for your patient. um, and yes, you want to make money, but at the end of the day you want to also preserve your license and preserve your integrity, and make sure you remain true to yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that is definitely the biggest con on our list.
Yeah,
Um, Now we'll go over the pros
yeah,
with you
we got to give you guys
guys.
some good things now,
We
because
gotta give you the good things. It gotta balance, right? All right, guys. So coming in at number five on the pros end, is sightseeing
oh
and new
yeah.
experiences. So, guys, we have been to Ohio, West Virginia, New Jersey, and now we're going to Wisconsin. So, we've been to quite a few places, and let me tell you, the views are absolutely amazing, breathtaking. Not only the nature aspect of what you
Hmm.
see, but you get to just see how people live their lives,
Yeah.
like the culture shock part of it.
Yeah.
Um, Also, you get to try new food. You get to try out new places. I know when we were in New Jersey, we took a trip to New York. We
Yeah.
had the same days off, a few
Yeah.
days in a row. So we took a trip to New York. We went and seen a Broadway show, which I
Hmm.
had never seen before. So I was super excited
Yeah,
about
that was
that,
nice.
an experience I won't forget. We got to go to the 9/11 Museum, just different things like that. That typically, if we were still at home or doing, staff nursing here, I'm not going to say we will never go and see those things, but since
Yeah,
you're already there, it makes more sense to go when you're off.
definitely
So
true.
that's definitely a pro.
And guys, number four is gonna be fewer hospital policies. This one I
Excuse
really
me.
like, because and that's one thing, when we stop, or when we stop travel nursing, that's one thing I'm definitely gonna miss, because you get to go there and do your job, and there's a lot of things you don't have to deal with as a traveler. It doesn't mean you don't have to be compliant. It doesn't mean you don't have to have your license. It doesn't mean you don't have to be certified. But it's not all the little.
Yeah, like not all the bells and whistles.
Yeah.
Like if you have a morning huddle, let's just an example. You have a morning huddle, day shift, night shift's there, management is there. They say, oh, hey guys, remember we have this meeting next Tuesday at 3 p.m.
Yeah, you're
We
not
don't
staffed.
have
It
to
doesn't. Yeah,
go.
it doesn't
As a
apply to you.
traveler, it
Yeah,
does not apply to
yeah.
you,
You
you
do have to
know?
keep up with their policies, of
Yeah,
course,
if
but
they want you to do like certain compliances or
mhm,
some certain learning modules or things that's specific to that hospital, yes, you do have to remain
yeah,
compliant with what they require.
right.
But as far as things like meetings, joining organizations in the hospital,
No,
you don't have to
no.
do, which is it's a pro in our opinion.
Definitely a pro for us.
Yeah, definitely. Um, Coming in at number three is professional growth.
Yeah,
So when you travel to all these different places, all these different hospitals, you see a new way of how things are done.
yeah.
There's no one way to do the same thing.
Hmm.
There's many ways to do one thing, you know? So we get to learn from different people, the different hospital policies, on what way that, you know, we think is, I don't want to say best, but the way that, excuse me, that we think would be maybe more efficient
Yeah,
or work better for the patient.
yeah,
Um, of course, you know, you see some things that are done that are like, I don't know if I want to do that. But that's the beauty of it. You can decide what you want to pick up and take with you to the next place.
yeah.
And you can decide what you want to leave behind. It's just a new way of learning. You just are more well-rounded
Yeah.
when you travel more.
And it's a great thing, you know. The last assignment I was at, um, the people I work with, I'm forever grateful for them because they took the time to tell you why something was a certain way because um, you don't know everything, and
No,
even when you get experience, you never will know. Anybody can bring
never.
something new to the table, and I will truly appreciate the doctors and seasoned nurses that I've worked with that will take the time to tell you, hey, listen, this is why this is done this way and not that way, instead of just coming at you like, you did the worst thing in the world. But so that's definitely probably one of the best thing to me when it comes to traveling.
Yeah, I agree. And then coming in at number two is flexibility. So as a traveler, you have a lot of flexibility. It's so silly. You have a lot of flexibility. That can be when it comes to your schedule, like as far as when your contract starts.
Mm,
If a start date doesn't work for you, you can talk to your recruiter, work something out. For example, I recently got sick. Our start date was supposed to start last week, but I got sick out of nowhere. And so I needed more time to recover, to get better before we started working. And we just reached out to our recruiter, told her the situation, and she made things happen for us to where our start date got pushed back. So there's flexibility with that. Also, if you want to schedule your contracts to where you have the holidays off,
mm-hmm.
you can do that. For example, Evans and I, we usually always take the month of December off. For Christmas, to bring in the new year, it's also our anniversary, my birthday. So we usually will take that time off just to spend with each other, friends, family, all of that.
Yeah, because you do miss on a lot of things.
You do miss out
and
on a lot, like I was mentioning before. You do. So it's just a time to just make memories with your loved ones and enjoy that time. Also, you can choose between if you want to work 36 hours a week or 48 hours a week. Um, 36 hours, it's a little bit less pay, obviously.
mm-hmm.
48 hours, it's harder, but you honestly, it goes by so quick.
Yeah.
You don't even realize,
A lot of
that it
people are
happened.
against 48.
A lot of people are like 48, 4 days, what? But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, You don't even see it.
The way we see it is that we're away from home, and that helps with also being flexible. If we put in more work, then we can take off more time. So
Absolutely.
if we can do our 48 and then that give us an extra week, then it works out
That's
for
what it,
us.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And then coming in at number one is
Yeah.
stipends. So we chose this as number one because we feel like, as far as pay wise, this kind of makes some of the like, as far as pay, the reason why you would go for the travel
Yeah.
nursing versus staff nursing. So not all of you might know what a stipend is, so we took the liberty of looking it up and we wrote the definition down for you guys. So I'm just gonna read off that definition, okay? So a stipend is a sum of money an agency provides to a travel nurse to cover the meal and housing costs that the travel nurse incurs while working a travel assignment. Excuse me. So why is a stipend so important? The thing is this: your hourly rate that you get when you sign up for your contract, a lot of the times, especially these days, it can be almost the same as what someone doing staff nursing would
Or
make,
even less.
or even less, exactly. So the stipend is what makes it worthwhile.
Hmm.
Um, so you get a weekly stipend. It's untaxed. It's not reported to IRS. It's like you're not having that income. So it's untaxed money that's put on top of your hourly rate, whatever amount of hours and days a week that you're working. So with that included, um, you're good. It covers your housing, covers your meals. Um, so it makes it worthwhile.
Yeah.
Honestly, it does.
But you do have to make sure that you qualify for the stipend. That's
Yes,
number
not
one.
everyone, not every
Um,
traveler will get a stipend.
and
Yes.
you also have to make sure that your stipend aligns to where you be living, and you have to take all that into consideration. We did cover that in the pros and the cons, but when it comes to the stipend, you have to make sure that it will benefit you at the end of the day. If you're going somewhere where it's really expensive, your stipend won't be able to cover. You have to make sure you take that into consideration, and I'm sorry, but also that doesn't mean to put yourself in a bad situation to where you live in somewhere just because you're trying to make up the money.
Exactly.
Sorry.
So the ways that you can know if you apply or not, because that is a good point he brought up. Not every traveler will collect that stipend. Local travelers most times do not collect a stipend. They just get a higher hourly rate. Excuse me. So you have to live a certain amount of miles away from the facility that you'll be working at. I do believe for every agency is different.
It's different. Most of the time, I think it's 100,
I think it's 50.
50 or
Yeah, I think it might be 50. So you have to live a certain amount of miles away. And then also you have to be making duplicate expenses.
Yeah.
So like I was talking about earlier, if you have the house in Texas, but you're on a travel assignment in California, you have to be making two sets of expenses to qualify.
Yeah, not necessarily mortgage, but they do ask for things like proof for you to give.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So that was our list, guys, of pros and cons, cons and pros. So at the end of the day, is travel nursing worth it in 2024? We say
Yes.
yes, it is, but it is completely up to you. You have to figure out what works best for
Yeah.
you, your family, your situation, whatever it is. And it works out very well for us because we do it together. Um, you know, a lot of people I know, they go out by themselves and they get really lonely. So I mean, and I don't know what their situation is at home, so it's just a lot to consider. So you just want to make sure that you're making the right decision for you. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, taking the time to watch us. We hope that the information we provided you with helps you to make an educated decision on if you should start travel nursing or continue with travel nursing. If you have any questions, please let us know down in the comments. We love you guys. Thank you so much for your support, and we'll see you again later.
See you guys next time.